Hello everyone and welcome back to another Java Made Simple tutorial video. In this video we are going to be talking about classes. We are going to explain what the class is, how we can create one and what the class contains. So let's take a look at that. Let's create a new class. We are going to do that by just right clicking here on this package name. So this is the package that we created. We're going to go to new and Java class. Clicking on that offers us a menu where we can enter a name. Let's name our class. We can basically name it however we want, but in this case, let's name it animal. We have now a class named animal. You can see here that we have a new file, animal.java. So this is .java is the extension of this file. And here we can see that this is a public class and yeah, it's named animal. Every class has something called properties. It's basically the description of this class. Let's create some properties that would describe an animal. Here we have two properties. We have number of legs and we have sound it makes. So an animal has some legs and how much you find out by this property. And sound that it can make, it's we have a type, so it's simple like as a variable that we created. It has a type, which is in this case is string, and it has a name. And meaning private means basically that it's only available inside of this class, so you can't access it from the outside. If you want to access it, you could change this to public, but the more correct way would be to create something called getters. And also in between getters, we also have setters. Setters are methods that allows us to set some values here. So let's do that. Let's create some getters and setters for these two properties, and then I'm going to explain how they work. And here we are. So we have created a setter and a getter for a number of legs, and we have created a setter and a getter for the sound it makes. So a setter and a getter is just a method with a return type in the case of getter and without a return type in the case of setter, which either gets you a property or sets it. So this animal is, think of it again as a container in which we can store different variables. So it's not an array, it's a container which describes something. In our case, an animal. And in the description you have properties. The properties are the variables here, the ones that you create. And you have an option to set them and you have an option to get them. To set them, you create a method with the return type void, meaning that there is no return, nothing is returned from this method. And this method is public, meaning that it's accessible from the outside of the animal class. And you pass in a parameter. In our case, we are passing in the integer with the name new number of legs, and we are going to set it to the number of legs inside of the animal. And to get it, we have a return type. The return type depends on the property. In our case, it's the number of legs, which is an integer. So we have a return type integer. We are getting the number of legs, and we are returning the number of legs that's stored here. So we are returning this value. And same for the sound it makes. We are passing in a string and setting it to the sound it makes property. And with the getter, we are returning a string and returning the sound it makes. Perfect. Now let's take a look at how we can actually use this class. Let's go back to our main class, and here we are going to try to use it. To use it, it's simple as declaring a new instance of it. So that's how it's called. And it's similar as what we did with array. We just say new and we say animal. And there it is, we have a new animal class. And we can set it to a variable, same as we did before with arrays or with something different like strings. So now we have the animal variable here. Currently it's empty, we didn't set any properties, so let's do that. So we have created now an animal class instance and we gave it the name animal. You can name it, of course, however you want. It doesn't have to match the class name, and you can create as many of these as you want, but of course they have to have different names. You can't have the same name here. And with that being done, we can set we can call our setter, so set number of flags, we have set some value, and we can call the setter for the sound it makes, and we are passing in the string. So let's see how we can use the getters. Let's print out the number of flags and the sound the animal makes. And this is how we use our getters. We are printing out the message animal has, and then whatever we have set here, number of legs. Same for the sound, animal makes some sound. So the sound that it makes depends on what we set here. If we run our application, we should be able to print this. So animal has 4 legs, animal makes woof sound. So probably this is a dog. I don't know, it could be a strange cat, I'm not sure. So what we set here is being passed in here inside, so we can fetch it with the getter. If I would call it again here with something different, this gets overwritten. So if I run our application again, we are setting the sound woof, but then we're setting the sound meow. So meaning that this gets overwritten like we didn't do it. Same would be for the legs. And that's basically the basics of a class, how you can create it, how you can create some properties inside, and how you can create some methods. Of course, you can add methods that are not related to the properties. So you could do something like public string. And now you have a method that returns hello world. That's something that you can do, definitely. For example, those kind of classes would be, so in the complicated applications, there would be, I don't know, some services where they can do something like they go to the database or to go to an external server, fetch you something, and you're calling just a method inside of that class to do that. So you don't see the background here, but you have to jump to it and then you can see it. So this is the basics. In the next video, we are going to take a look at how we can extend this class, so what that means, how we can actually override some of these methods, and yeah, we're going to take a look at something called abstract classes. But that's something that we are going to leave for the next video. For now, this should be enough for you. Just try to make your own classes, so a couple of them, just try it out and see how it goes. If something is unclear, or if I was too fast, or if something is just not right, please do let me know, and then I will try to explain it in the next video or just answer you directly. So until the next one.